here today. Yes. One back there, 2, 3. Okay, guys. First of all, I want to go into how I got started in network marketing. Have you ever heard of network marketing? Have you ever done it?
A little bit.
Okay. How about you?
No.
No. How about you? No. I never did either, guys. When I was 21 years old, I was married, I had a little girl, and I was a carpenter, okay? And I was a foreman at 21 years old. All the guys that I was bossing around were older than me. But I worked hard. I wanted to be as good as I could be. So I got this bright idea that I am going to start my own company. Only 21, and I was so excited about it because my father-in-law already told me that he would co-sign for a note for me. And I went, wow, this is it. I can do this. And I was the guy on the job that built the houses anyhow. My boss would come there and just hand out checks. I went, that's crazy. I'm the one doing this. But I was excited. I went over to my mom and dad's, and I told, my mom was the first one that I hit. She was in the living room. And I said, Mom, I'm going to start my own carpenter business. And her mouth dropped. And she goes, I cannot believe you're so selfish. Not what I was expecting, right? And I said, what do you mean? She goes, you're newly married, you got a little girl, and you want to jeopardize everything? For your selfish reasons, you want to be the boss? Well, Mom, it's not like that. I want to dictate my own future here. I cannot believe that. And I was so torn down from being high. Like, you first get into a business like this, you're so high, and this one person tells you, are you crazy, right? You go, whoa! Like, what did I do wrong? Well, I went in towards the kitchen, and my dad was in there, and I said, Dad, I said, Mom thinks I'm crazy. Like, says, son, go for it. I said, serious? Go for it. Out of generations back, never has anyone owned their own business. No one. I would have been the first one to own what they did. And I said, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So it all came about, except, guys, I forgot to tell you, we bought a house too. It was new to us, but it wasn't a new house, right? Our payment was $176 a month, and I'm 69, so that was a while back. You might go you can't get a doghouse for that. So, but it was, guys, I started the company, and I wasn't able to draw a check for 6 months.
Wow.
I went, this is not working out the way I wanted it to. And my wife kept telling me, she goes, Bob, they're ready to take our house. They're going to take the house. And I said, this thing's going to kick in. It's going to kick in. She goes, we need money to live on. Would you please stop the nonsense and go get a job? And I was working day and night. I couldn't have worked anymore because I'd work all day long. Then I'd go work at night, hook up lights on a foundation, and work till midnight, 1 o'clock, wake up at 5:30, go to work. And so it finally did. It kicked in to where I could have some money, and we were able to get the house caught up a little, and then promised the bank that we'd get all the way caught up. Well, guys, it worked out. I became pretty successful. I had 50 employees majority of the time. And when I started that company, I was the youngest guy too. I was the boss. But everybody was older, including my father who worked for me. Oh, that's a trip. But it was great though. And we ended up making a few $100,000 a year. But what had happened in the meantime, I spent $100,000 a month to make $300,000 a year. So guys, it takes money to make money. That's the real world out there, right? So we were doing well, and one of my builders asked me to take a look at something he was doing. This guy was a very successful builder. And I said, well, what are you talking about? And I heard about these pyramid things. And he says, well, it works sort of like this. Exactly what he was explaining sounded like what other people told me to stay away from, right? And I went, oh, okay, I'll think about that. And I went home and told my wife, and she goes, what? I says, if he ever says anything, we're not interested, right? Well, I come home from work one day, and she says, get cleaned up, we're going to a meeting. I don't know how he got you here. Okay, but they didn't get me that night. I said, you got that wrong. You're going to a meeting. I've already told him I'm not interested. And I'm telling you guys this because have we made a lot of money? I have made generational wealth money, right? But guys, I didn't see it in the beginning. I was so stubborn at doing it the traditional way because I had broke all the records in our whole family generations back. So she goes, okay, I'll go. I said, tell him we're not interested. He'll never bother us again. She goes, okay. It's very late. She's not home. So I'm wondering, like, I know that meeting don't take that long. She gets home finally, and I go, where have you been? She goes, we all went out afterwards and grabbed something to eat, or something like that, coffee or whatever. And why'd you do that? She goes, well, they asked me. And I went, this isn't sounding good already. Okay? They get you a loan so they can talk you into it. I'm not dumb. I know that kind of deal. And she goes, I said, well, what did he tell you when you told him we're not interested? She goes, we're reps with the company.
Oh my.
I blew a head gasket because, guys, I see my world being turned upside down right now. Spinning my wheels on something that I know wouldn't work, all right?
That's all right.
Those things, I had never made, I never met no one that made money doing that stuff. And so she says, we're reps. And I said, you got that wrong. You're a rep. I'm not a rep. I actually don't even know what you're doing. And don't talk to my family. So that's how Joanne and I started our career. But she was pretty persistent. She never told me what she was doing. It was actually a long-distance company back when deregulation happened of the phone service, right? Now, how many times did deregulation occur?
Once.
Once, right? We caught the tail end of that wave, but I came home from work one day, and this was maybe about 3-4 weeks later, and she had a check sitting by the coffee pot. Wasn't a lot of money, but it was $199. And it impacted me forever. Okay? And I says, what is this? You don't want to know. That was her exact answer. Okay? I went, are you telling me this company paid you? She goes, yes, they paid me. I said, what is it? What are you doing? She goes, it's phone service. We're offering long distance. I said, you can't do that. Ameritech does that. She goes, no, it's been deregulated. We can do that. there's other carriers now. I went, I don't know how that works. I said, but oh my God, everybody's got a phone, Joe. She goes, I know, that's what I seen when I seen this. I went, did you talk to my mother? My mom would be our customer. She goes, no, you told me not to talk to your mother. So that was the first person I went and talked to. My mom said, sure, I'll do it. And guys, I started dreaming right then. And I went, this is crazy. They actually paid her. Business guy, right here, entrepreneur. I went, all we got to do is figure out how to put commas in this. That's it. We put commas in it, I'm on board. And guys, that's how we started. And it wasn't easy for us because I'd never done nothing like that. I never knew what rejection was until I got into network marketing. You know, people actually will tell you no. And I didn't experience that in the real world. I bid jobs and I wouldn't get them, but I didn't take it personal. That, okay, I was too high. But this was a flat out, no, I won't be your customer. I love AT&T, I love this. And so I had a lot of mixed emotions as I was building it, but we did it part-time for 10 years and made over $3 million in that first one. And that changed my whole life because I went, you know what? Network marketing is where I want to be. And we got involved with another one. We did it part-time for the first 4 years. And then I decided to give my company to my two foremen free. Wow. Something I had built for 40 years. I was very successful. Everybody knew my name out there. And I remember sitting my foremans down. I told them I wanted to meet them for lunch. And this was on a Saturday. And I want to meet you guys. And they're going like, what is going on here? I said, I got some good news and bad news for you guys. I said, I'm not going to be running a business no more. I knew it, this darn pyramid thing you're doing. They went crazy because what had happened during all these years, they came to work for me, these two young guys, when they were kids, right out of high school. And now their kids work for me. Okay? So they have been all these years with me, and now I'm letting them go. 50 guys. I said, but I got an idea. I said, I want to give the company to you guys. Oh yeah, how do we pay for it? Like that. I was getting so much rejection from them, and I'd already had it in my mind, I'm giving it to them free. Okay, but they wouldn't even let me get it out. So then I told them, I says, I'm giving you all the equipment. I'm giving you all the rest of the contracts we have, 461 villas, signed over to you. I said, I'm giving it to you. And I said, I'll mentor you how to bid jobs. Oh yeah, but how do we pay you? I went, are you listening to me? You're not going to pay me. You're going to get this free. And then they were cool about it. So the reason why I've done that, guys, is we had already been making a lot of money. We were making a lot more money part-time with network marketing than I could ever make in construction, spending $100,000 a month. So I thought my payback for them being as loyal as they were to me is to give it to them free. So that's what we did, and I'll never regret what we've done, because network marketing not only will change your life, it'll change so many other people's lives. You'll impact their lives. Greg was talking about a young man that was on Jerry Brown's team that became a multi-millionaire, owned his own network marketing team. I says, I know that young man. I was right there when he signed up. He was 18, and in 3 years was the youngest millionaire in the company. I said, I mentored him. He never done network marketing. He was in college, but he listened to everything and never asked, why do we do this? He was a sponge. And today he's very, very successful, guys. So I've seen this change so many people's lives. You can't put a price tag on that because I know things that you'll never know. Most of us buy into working a job all of our life, right? Well, you know what that got me, guys? $1,300 a month, Social Security. All them years I put into business and working for someone, $1,300 a month. It's like a joke, okay? Because I get that money, and that's what my grandkids get every month, right? Like, Grandpa, you got this and that. I use that check just so they can have some cash. But with this, guys, what happens is, how many people have done network marketing before this one? See, I wish you guys, by the time we're done today, will get what I'm saying here. Because even though it's tough, you guys ever go to work and it's tough, you have a bad day, right? And you go back the next day, right? Will network marketing be tough? Absolutely, guys. I mean, I don't know any business out there that's not going to be tough to build, right? But it's well worth it. This is something you'll build and build and build and build, and you're out there working it, and you're not really making the money you want to make. You're going like, what's going on here? You know? But it's so unlike traditional business where you got to spend 50 grand as a young kid, okay? You're not going to spend that kind of money. So for a low investment, we can own our own business, own what we do. But as you build this, it works the exact opposite of traditional businesses. Okay, well, not really mine. I worked 6 months and didn't get a check after spending 50 grand, right? But this right here, as you build it, it will eventually turn around on you where you work, not get paid, work, not get paid, and all of a sudden, you get paid, you get paid, you get paid. And I can say that, guys, because I was doing this business right here 11 months. I went out there, I was working day and night. So when I tell people you can work this a few hours a day, that's absolutely, I'd work it 24 hours a day if I could. I'm like a workaholic. I don't mind working. So I went out and I built so fast, so strong. I got hung up with everybody getting checks that I built such a solid foundation. And when I was in this 11 months, my son-in-law passed away. Massive heart attack, just turned 40. My daughter was right there in front of him when he passed away, had the heart attack. So she had that vision in her head. At that time, she's got 4 children now. I mean, right then, she had 4 children, a set of girl twins, 4 years old, an autistic grandson who was 7 years old. He was born with brain tumors, and he has 20, 30 seizures per day. He was under 24-hour care. So, and then a granddaughter, she was, I think, 8 years old at the time. And my daughter did not want to live anymore. She wanted to be with him. They were grade school sweethearts. Isn't that something, to go through all of life, go to college, everything, and they ended up getting married, and the best son-in-law you could ask for. All he cared about was his family. He cared for his family, and he passes away. And my daughter was devastated. And I told Joanne, I says, pack up, we're going to live with her. She goes, what about the business? I said, I don't even care about it anymore. I'm done. I says, she's more important right now. She's not going to make it. I should not have started this. But guys, I lived with her for 6 months. I would have been there a year, 2 years. It didn't matter. But here's what I want to tell you about this business we got. I've done other network marketings, and if you weren't out there working all the time, your checks would drop drastically, okay? What I had built in 11 months, I never, in 6 months' time, got a check below $5,000 for the week, okay? So it ranged from I was telling Greg, $5,000 to $8,000 per week for 6 months straight. So I still had a business when I returned. It took 6 months. Now, health-wise, how did I end up in this company? We had already done very well financially, right? Well, 21 years ago, I had a stroke. My left side was paralyzed. In the hospital, they ran all kind of tests. They found out. I don't want to name a disease, guys, because there's people tape recording this, okay? But first of all, we do not cure anything. All we're doing is giving our body proper nutrition, right? So what happened was they found out I had blood sugar level problems, all right? So that wasn't good to me, good news, because my mother was on dialysis at the time for the same issue. And she passed away 2 years later from that disease. My grandmother had already passed away from the same disease. And now they told me I had this disease. If you fast forward, I struggled with that disease for 20-some years. It was, I couldn't get it under control with all the medication. I was on 21 meds by then. I was on 8 Percocet a day plus 21 meds for my back pain. I took some falls in construction and I fried my back. 4 and 5 disc was deteriorated, pinching the side again. So I didn't want to get operated on. That's what they wanted to do. So I was on the Percocet and I was still in pain all the time. I walked slow. I couldn't walk normal because if you just walk a little bad, that pain just, it'd put you on your knees. So I didn't have no quality of life. And does anybody in here remember their grandpa and grandma? Mm-hmm. My grandpa meant the world to me. He would come and pick me up, take me places, right? So I never forgot that in my life, how special my grandpa was. I wanted to be that grandpa, but I couldn't be. I have 9 grandkids and I have 6 great-grandkids. So I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and here I had all the money I needed. So what happened then was, just a little over 3 years ago, I ended up having a heart attack. And so I asked the doc, I said, what is going on with me? He says, the disease is eating up your internal organs. He said, Bob, remember I've been telling you if you don't get it under control, you're not going to be here? I said, yeah. He says, you're not going to be here. And it was like somebody took a sledgehammer and hit me. I went, you know what? I'm not going to be here. I worked my whole life for money. And now, I don't know if anybody's ever had a call to them like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm going like, I really am not going to be here. So my grandkids won't have that grandpa. Well, a friend of mine called me from Kentucky and said, Bob, I've got a product I think will help you. I immediately told him I wasn't interested. Didn't care what it was. I had already tried everything there was out there. Every juice you could drink, nothing ever helped. So the longer he talked, he has a way about him that I agreed to drive from Michigan to Kentucky. to sample the drink, okay? When I seen it, I didn't want to drink it because it looked like muddy water. But have you sampled the product? Should have gave them that sample before it all started. Because it'll rock your world. It really will. Once I started drinking, I went, this really isn't that bad. And he says to me, could you drink one a day, Bob? And I was still very negative about this whole deal. I said, if I had to. He said, Bob, you just had a heart attack, you have to. So I said, okay. And guys, within, I won't go through all what happened to me in between, but within 6 months, I was off all the meds but one.
Wow.
I had no more back pain whatsoever, and it's never come back. So now, after, it was about a year after I lived 6 months with my daughter, about a year after that, I was able to take all my grandkids to Disney World and spend 3 days there with them. So what I ended up doing, what Zija has done for me, it bought my life back.
Yeah.
So, guys, I want you to think about how many people out there do you know that might be taking some meds? You know anyone that might be taking meds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? 1 out of every 3 people, that's all. 1 out of every 3. Every med that we put in our mouth has a minimum of 70 side effects, guys. And I was taking 21 and 8 Percocet. So we are killing ourselves is what we're doing. The food we eat is killing us, but we have no choice, right? We think we're eating a little healthier, but we really aren't, because the food that we eat today just doesn't have the nutrition it had years ago. So we have to supplement our body with some type of good nutrition. So that's all we're doing here. I kept feeding my body with this nutrition, and it corrected itself. Now, this right here was me.
What?
How much weight have you lost since you've been on the product?
65 pounds. That was me 6 months later with
Wow.
no diet, no working out.
That's incredible.
No diet and no working out. But I definitely, what this thing has done to me, this product, I don't have the appetite I used to have. I'll eat the same doggone bad food, but I can't consume the same portions I used to. And it gets kind of frustrating sometimes. I still have these routines. I live for breakfast. I love breakfast. Well, Melanie fixed me breakfast this morning, but it didn't look like my old-time breakfast. I would always keep going to the restaurant, and I still do today, eggs, bacon, potatoes. I barely touch any of it, and it all sets. But I still order the same thing. It's crazy. So I'll have a little bit of each one, and I am totally satisfied. Because it was the same food I've always ate, right? Anybody ever been on diet?
Oh yeah.
I lived on them all my life. I hate a diet. Every time I lost weight, I gained weight back. This was the first thing I've ever done to where I didn't starve myself or anything like that, that I lost weight and kept the weight off. So think of how many people you know that's got some type of joint pain, maybe arthritis. I had major arthritis in that hand. I couldn't do that. It would all crunch, swell up. But look at that, guys. No medications going in my body. So we have a product in a time of need. Would you guys agree we're living in a health and wellness boom?
Yeah.
Yep.
Watch TV. That's all you hear about, health and wellness, right? Now, you guys that are distributors, you all know we got the best product out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stories you will get from people calling you blows your mind. You go, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. And guys, we can help those people where they have tried everything out there. They're medicated on drugs today. They probably went through the same issues I did. Diabetes is an epidemic today. It's an epidemic. And guys, all I can say is get with the person who brought you, get your questions answered, and join the team with us today. The product that we have all has a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. So really, what have you got to lose? And everything to gain. And financially, if you're in it for the money too, it'll change your whole world. Thank you, guys.